Hi everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 93 of Hockey on the Spot. We got a doozy of an episode today. Quite a few updates to go over and 13 games last night, as well as this day in hockey history from November 3rd. I hope you all remember to change the clocks back 1 hour. It is daylight savings at long last, which means fall is coming into the cold part of the season, and winter is going to be on its way in over a month. So let's now get to it. Let's get down to important business. Got a lot to talk about. So anyway, let's do it. Starting with the Winnipeg Jets, who have claimed defenseman Keaton Ellerby off waivers from the Los Angeles Kings. I had a feeling someone was going to claim this kid. He's one of those players that's too good to pass up, but not good enough to play, it seems. That's really the interesting story of the day. But he could actually provide some good depth for that blue line down in Winnipeg, especially with Mark Stewart out with an injury. They will definitely could use someone of his talents. Yesterday's NHL waivers, a couple of surprises actually. For the Buffalo Sabres forward Patrick Kaleta, whose 10-game suspension was actually over. He was eligible to play last night, but they waived him as soon as the suspension was over. And for the Calgary Flames goaltender Joey McDonald, as again they've called goaltender Rito Barra up from the American Hockey League, McDonald, after that blazing start, has just not been up to snuff lately. It was an awful October for many NHLers. Here's a look at a few of those who didn't get off to tremendous starts this season and are hoping for a good November. For the Buffalo Sabres, Ryan Miller. For the Dallas Stars, Ray Whitney. For the Edmonton Oilers, Devin Dubnyk, Jason LaBarbera, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Nail Yakupov. I actually could have sworn Nugent-Hopkins was playing really well. But anyway, for the Florida Panthers, Tim Thomas. For the New York Rangers, Mark Stahl, Dan Girardi, and Derek Stepan. For the Philadelphia Flyers, Claude Giroux and Scott Hartnell. For the Washington Capitals, Mike Green. And last but certainly not least, the entire Metropolitan Division, with the exception of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we'll see how that turns out. Philadelphia Flyers goaltender Ray Emery will face no supplemental NHL discipline coming from the Flyers-Capitals brawl the other night, which is a big surprise to me. The NHL Players Association is preparing to sue the state of Tennessee on behalf of its membership and get reimbursed for a special tax that players must pay each time they play a game in Nashville. Since the 2009-2010 season, the state has taxed NHL players $2,500 with an annual cap of $7,500 under a professional privilege tax each time they were on their club's playing roster for a game in Nashville. The Players Association believes this is unfair and possibly unconstitutional, saying a player making the league minimum would in fact lose money playing there and would be better off financially by not playing. The reimbursement would only apply to those players who paid the tax prior to the new CBA. Under the current CBA, it was negotiated that the NHL would reimburse players for their Tennessee tax payments starting with the 2012-2013 season. Very interesting. Update on the Philadelphia Flyers. Steve Downey will be released from the hospital today, but is out indefinitely with a concussion. Meanwhile, Vinny LeCavalier is day-to-day with a facial contusion. Two big losses for the Flyers. Colorado Avalanche coach Patrick Roy is just the second head coach in NHL history to win 11 of his first 12 games, joining Mark Crawford, who did it with the Quebec Nordiques in 1994-1995. Meanwhile, Colorado is one of just 6 teams in NHL history to win 11 of their first 12 games, joining the 07-08 Ottawa Senators, the 06-07 Buffalo Sabres, the 05-06 Detroit Red Wings, the 94-95 Quebec Nordiques, and the 94-95 Pittsburgh Penguins. The Calgary Flames have recalled goaltender Rito Barra from the American Hockey League's Abbotsford Heat. Barra was acquired from the St. Louis Blues in the Jay Bouwmeester trade. So they'll have high hopes for him and hope that he can change their goaltending situation around. Former Columbus Blue Jackets goaltender Alan York has signed a professional tryout with the American Hockey League's Texas Stars, affiliate of the Dallas Stars. The Toronto Maple Leafs have put forward Tyler Bozak on long-term injured reserve with a lower body injury. Bozak is eligible to return November 19th versus the New York Rangers. The Edmonton Oilers have placed forward David Perron on IR and recalled defenseman Philip Larson from the Oklahoma City Barons of the American Hockey League. So, it's believed that the NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman will possibly fine the Philadelphia Flyers for Friday's brawl against the Washington Capitals. Meanwhile, the upcoming GM meetings are said to be heavily concentrating on diving and fighting. There will be many potential rule changes brought up, including fining teams for players/coaches' actions, mandatory suspensions for goalies if they cross the blue line, automatic suspension for a player instigating a fight with a goalie, and the instigator fighting rule being extended for the final 5 minutes to the entire third period. Very interesting there. Buffalo Sabres GM Darcy Regier says that the team tried to trade Patrick Coletta with no success. It's 50-50. Someone will claim him on waivers. Vancouver Canucks legend Pavel Bure had this to say about former head coach Pat Quinn. Pat Quinn, you are a great man. I was so young when we first met. You taught me a lot about being a great player and a great man. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the City of Columbus will officially host the 2015 NHL All-Star Celebration. The NHL All-Star Skills Competition will take place January 24th and the NHL All-Star Game on January 25th. For more on all NHL, AHL, ECHL, and junior/prospects events, you guys can go to a bunch of different websites, but the one I like to use is Hockey Rumors and Trades. So you can definitely check that out. Shout out to Hockey Rumors and Trades right there. Florida Panthers forward Chris Versteeg was a healthy scratch last night. Versteeg claims it's the first time in his career, and he played on some pretty good teams. He's worked hard all summer to get back into the lineup. He didn't expect to be scratched in Game 14. He's being used as an example. Toronto Maple Leafs forward David Bolland went down after what appeared to be a kick to the ankle from Vancouver Canucks forward Zach Kassian. Could be a laceration similar to Ottawa Senators Erik Karlsson last season, and therefore Dave Bolland is out indefinitely with a leg laceration. Is it time the NHL made Kevlar socks mandatory? We'll see. Florida Panthers forward Chris Barch pulled out his tooth and flicked it to a Panthers fan, which was, to a Caps fan. Very interesting there. That could be looked at later. That really could be looked at later. Congratulations to Phoenix Coyotes coach David Tippett, who became the franchise's all-time leader in NHL wins with 166. And, of course, don't forget about last night, 2 former players got their numbers retired. Pavel Bure for the Vancouver Canucks got his number 10 raised, and for the Colorado Avalanche, former defenseman Adam Foote got his number 52 raised. So, lot good milestones for these players. And that is all the updates for today. So now let us get to the games. Actually, there is one more update. Vancouver Canucks goaltender Roberto Luongo got his 64th career shutout last night in a 4-0 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Luongo is just 2 away from Patrick Waugh for 14th all-time in NHL shutouts. Marty Brodeur, Roberto Luongo, and New York Islanders Evgeny Nabokov, who is 19th with 55, are the only active goalies in the top 20. Devils' Martin Brodeur holds the all-time record with 121. So let's now get to it, folks. Let's get to the games. So let's now get to the games. There's a lot to talk about from last night's action. Starting with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets. In Winnipeg, Jonathan Toews making his hometown debut. First time the Blackhawks have played the Jets at the MTS Center since the Jets re-entered the league. And the Hawks make good use of it, winning the game by a final score of 5-1. Winnipeg did take a 1-0 lead in the game, but after that it was all Chicago. Chicago goals being scored by Nicholas Chalmerson, his first of the year, assisted by Marcus Kruger. Then Brandon Bollig got his second of the year, assisted by Marcus Kruger. That would be the game winner. Then Patrick Sharp would put in his third of the year, assisted by Marian Hossa and Nick Leddy. Then Nick Leddy would get in his second of the year, assisted by Andrew Shaw and Jeremy Morin. And then Ben Smith would score in the third, assisted by Brandon Bollig and Duncan Keith. Multi-point nights for Nick Leddy, Marcus Kruger, and Brandon Bollig. A goal and an assist each for Bollig and Leddy, and 2 assists for Kruger. Corey Crawford got the start and was very good. 26 saves on 27 shots, a .963 save percentage. So good job for him. For the Winnipeg Jets, their only goal being scored by Tobias Enstrom, who recently turned down the offer to join his team Sweden for the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. He got his second of the year, assisted by Matt Haleschuk and Michael Frolik. Andre Pavlik got the start and was nowhere near good. Just 10 saves on 14 shots, a .714 save percentage. Al Montoya comes in and makes 10 saves on 11 shots, a .909 save percentage. So not a good night. Not a good night for the Winnipeg Jets. Congratulations to the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Chicago Blackhawks, and congrats to Jonathan Toews on winning in his first game in his hometown. Next, we have the Anaheim Ducks and the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo. Ducks coming off a 3-2 shootout loss to the Boston Bruins. Did not start off the game well. They could not score in the first period, and then they allowed Buffalo to get the opening goal of the game. However, a little over 2 minutes after that is when they finally started to turn it on. The Ducks win by a final score of 6-3, and the struggles for the Buffalo Sabres continue. The Anaheim Ducks winning by a final score of 6-3. The Ducks goals being scored by the captain, Ryan Getzlaf, assisted by Dustin Penner and Francois Beauchemin. Then Sammy Vatanen would pop in his first of the year, assisted by Andrew Cogliano and Daniel Winnick. Also the first goal by an Anaheim blue liner this season. Sadly, though, Sammy Vatanen would end up leaving the game, I believe with a lower body injury. So hopefully he'll be all right. Then Emerson Edom would pop in the first of 2 goals that he would have in the game, assisted by Matthew Perreault and Devontae Smith-Pelly. Then Corey Perry would also pop in the first of 2 goals he would have in the game, assisted by Cam Fowler and Ryan Getzlaf. Then Emerson Edom would pop in his second, assisted by Matthew Perreault and Brian Allen. And then after the Sabres looked to come back with 2 goals, Corey Perry would get in his second, assisted by Ryan Getzlaf and Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm getting his third assist of the year. And first since that 2-assist performance against the Ottawa Senators on throwback night. But lots of multi-point performers for the Ducks. Perry, 2 goals. Edom, 2 goals. Matthew Perreault, 2 assists. Ryan Getzlaf, a goal and 2 assists, a 3-point night for him. Corey Perry had 5 shots on goal to lead the Ducks in that respect. And Ben Lovejoy and Devontae Smith-Pelly both led the team with 6 hits, which is remarkable. Cam Fowler led the team with 4 block shots. Jonas Hiller did not have to face much in the hockey game. Just 14 saves on just 17 shots, an 824 save percentage. Technically, that's not really a great night in the goalie crease, but you know what? They got the win, so it shouldn't matter to him. So, congrats to him and the Ducks. For the Buffalo Sabres, their goals coming from Cody Hodgson on the power play, assisted by Matt Moulson, the newcomer, and Mark Pysyk, who was probably the best player on the ice for the Buffalo Sabres. Then Henrik Tallinder would pop in his first goal in his second stint with the Buffalo Sabres, assisted by Cody Hodgson and Matt Moulson. And then Tyler Myers, big Tyler Myers, would pop in his first of the year, assisted by Johan Larsson. Congratulations to Johan Larsson, former Minnesota Wild top prospect, his first NHL point. Jonas Enroth played the entire game, and man, oh man, what is this yet another night for him and the Sabres to forget about. Just 23 saves on just 29 shots, a .793 save percentage. Again, Drew Stafford led the Sabres with 4 shots on goal. Cody Hodgson had a goal and an assist, and Matt Moulson had 2 assists. Cody McCormick and Nikita Zadorov led the team with 5 hits each. So, Cody Hodgson, however, was the third star of the game, the only positive for the Sabres. But man, was it not a good night for Jonas Enroth and the Buffalo Sabres yet again. Congratulations to the Anaheim Ducks, and for the Sabres, their season's practically over. Next, we have the St. Louis Blues and the Tampa Bay Lightning. In Tampa Bay, the Lightning coming up big with a 4-2 win at home after trailing the game 1-0 and then seeing their 2-1 lead slip away. Tampa Bay goals being scored by Alex Killorn, unassisted, his 4th of the year. He's been tremendous. Then Steven Stamkos would pop in his 11th of the year, assisted by Alex Killorn and Mark Barberio. Mark Barberio, very interesting. Him in the lineup. He's been in the lineup. He gets his first NHL point. Congratulations to him. It comes on an assist. Then Brett Connolly, who was recently called up, would get his first of the year. That would be the game winner, assisted by Radko Gudas and Valtteri Filppula. And then Valtteri Filppula would put the game out of reach, assisted by Alex Killorn and Eric Brewer. A goal and 2 assists on the night for Alex Killorn, a goal and an assist for Valtteri Filppula. Killorn, probably the best player on the ice all night. Radko Gudas leading the team with 5 hits. He's been a defensive force since becoming a regular. And Ben Bishop with yet another tremendous performance, 28 saves on 30 shots, a .933 save percentage. Congrats to him. For the St. Louis Blues, their goals coming from Alex Pietrangelo, assisted by David Backes and Alexander Steen. So Steen continuing to pile up points, though he didn't score a goal last night. And then Jaden Schwartz would pop in his 3rd of the year, assisted by Kevin Shattenkirk and Patrick Berglund. 6 shots on goal for Jaden Schwartz. That led everyone on both teams. And 4 shots for Steen, Alexander Steen. 4 hits for Roman Polak. Yaroslav Halak, not a great night for him. 21 saves on 25 shots, an .840 save percentage. So this is more or less a night for the Blues to forget about. Congrats to Ben Bishop and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ben Bishop winning against one of his former teams. Really the first team he was ever a part of. Next we have the Philadelphia Flyers and the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey. Boof. The Devils, it looked like they were doing so well. They had won 2 in a row and 3 in 4. And they lose to the Philadelphia Flyers of all teams, losing to them by a final score of 1-0 at home. The only goal of the game for either team being scored by Braden Shen, his 3rd of the year, assisted by Andre Mazzaros, his first points and assist of the year, and Wayne Simmons. Marty Brodeur, Ray Emery got the start in goal for the Flyers, and didn't have to face much, had to face 14 shots. He made all 14 saves, a 14-save shutout. Wayne Simmons led the team with 4 shots on goal. Matt Reed had 6 penalty minutes to lead him in that respect. So it was not an active night, really. For the New Jersey Devils, they did not have any standout players in any category whatsoever. Martin Brodeur back in net, and it was actually a good night for him despite the loss. 20 saves on 21 shots, a .952 save percentage. Team without Travis Zajac. Patrick Elias was not in the lineup, and Travis Zajac out with an injury. That's a big loss. They lose their top-line center. So not a great night for the New Jersey Devils by any stretch, with the exception of Marty Brodeur, who was the 3rd star. Ray Emery was the 1st star, despite only making 14 saves. Braden Shen, the 2nd star. I feel like he should have been the 1st star. But congratulations, regardless, to the Philadelphia Flyers, who were without Vinny Lecavalier, with no Luke Shen in the lineup, and also without the newcomer Steve Downey. So congratulations to the Flyers. Next, we have the Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders on Long Island. The Islanders coming up with a huge win by a final score of 3-1. Islander goals being scored by John Tavares, assisted by Thomas Vanek and Kyle Oposo. Then Andrew McDonald gets his first of the year, assisted by Travis Hamonic and Kyle Oposo. And then, that would be the game-winning goal, by the way. And then, Thomas Vanek pops in his 5th of the year overall, and first in a New York Islanders sweater. He finally gets his first as a New York Islander. He had been waiting for that one for a while. That would be his 5th of the year overall, again, assisted by Kyle Oposo and Travis Hamonic. So, Vanek really happy about that one. Kevin Poulin would get the start-in goal for the Islanders, and it's his first win of the year. 26 saves and 27 shots, a .963 save percentage. He was really good. So was Thomas Vanek, a goal and an assist in the game, and Travis Hamonic, 2 assists, and Kyle Oposo, 3 assists on the night. He assisted on all 3 Islander goals. He had a great night. 5 shots on goal for John Tavares to lead the team, 4 for Cal Clutterbuck, 6 hits for Cal Clutterbuck, and then 4 hits each for Matt Carkner, Thomas Hickey, Matt Martin, and Casey Cizikas. And how about Travis Hamonic with 5 blocked shots? Unbelievable. So the Islanders with a great night. Right, overall. Not for Matt Donovan, however, who had 4 giveaways in the game. For the Boston Bruins now, their only goal coming on the power play. Dougie Hamilton popping in his 3rd of the year, assisted by Riley Smith and Ryan Spooner. Shots on goal, Patrice Bergeron led the team with 5. Dougie Hamilton had 4. Matt Barkowski and Zdeno Chara 4 hits each. 4 block shots for Dennis Seidenberg. 4 giveaways for Brad Marchand. Not a good night for him. And not a good night for the goaltender either. Chad Johnson getting the start in goal, his 2nd start of the year. It wasn't the worst night, but it wasn't a great night. 31 saves on 34 shots, a .912 save percentage. Congratulations to the New York Islanders on a huge win. Next, we have the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers at the Garden. The Rangers not only coming up with the victory, but for the first time this season, they break the 3-goal barrier. They now have a 3-game winning streak, but they win by a final score of 5-1. Things seem to finally be starting to come together for the Rangers. Things are finally starting to come together for the New York Rangers. Henrik Lundqvist is back to his old normal self. He's back to the King Henrik Lundqvist that we all know and love. And despite the injuries to Ryan Callahan and Rick Nash, and now most recently Dominic Moore, who shouldn't be out too much longer, despite those injuries, the team is molding. They're coming together, and they're becoming the team that Alain Vigneault has been trying to structure all year long. For the New York Rangers, all goals they scored coming from 2 players, really. Carl Hagelin getting in 2 goals, and Derek Stepan finally popping in his first, not just his first goal of the season, but also his 2nd and his 3rd. That's right, he had a hat trick last night. So let's talk about it. The first Carl Hagelin would get it started with 2 goals. His first being assisted by Benoit Pouliot and Brad Richards. His second being assisted by Taylor Pyatt and Ryan McDonough. For Taylor Pyatt, his first point of the year. Then Derek Stepan's hat-trick would kick in for his first of the year, coming on the power play, assisted by Chris Kreider and Matt Zuccarello. His second, assisted by Matt Zuccarello and Chris Kreider, and his third, assisted by Matt Zuccarello and Chris Kreider. So Kreider and Zuccarello assisting on all 3 of Derek Stepan's goals. So unbelievable night for the New York Rangers. Let's talk about the points. Let's talk about them. Chris Kreider, 3 assists. Matt Zuccarello, 3 assists. Derek Stepan, 3 goals, a hat-trick performance. Carl Hagelin, 2 goals. Derek Stepan, 7 shots on goal. Brad Richards and Carl Hagelin each with 5. Derek Dorsett with 4. So an unbelievable night in that respect. Derek Brassard, 5 hits. Highly unlikely for a player like him to lead the team in hits. And Dan Girardi doing what he does best, blocking shots, leading the team with 4. And how about Henrik Lundqvist? 27 saves on 28 shots and .964 save percentage. He was arguably the best player on the ice that night. So, unbelievable night all around for the New York Rangers. For the Carolina Hurricanes, their only goal of the game coming on the power play. Andrej Sekera, now he's called. It was Andrej Sekera for the longest time. Now it's Andrej Sekera. He pops in his second of the year, assisted by Jiri Tolusti and Justin Falk. So not a good night for the Hurricanes. Eric Staal had 6 shots on goal to lead the Canes. Andrej Sekera had 5. Brett Bellemore had 5 hits, and Andrej Sekera had 4 blocked shots. So Sekera may have been the best player on the ice overall for the Carolina Hurricanes. Justin Peters back in goal and continues to lose. He's now 0-5-0, 33 saves on 38 shots and .868 save percentage, under a lot of fire. The Canes, just not a good night after a great start to the game where they were pressuring the Rangers and playing the puck down low. Just not a good night for the Carolina Hurricanes after that. Manny Malhotra again was in the lineup for the Hurricanes, and it's his second appearance of the season. He's looked pretty good since returning. He has looked really good since returning, actually. And, of course, the big story of that game was the Staal brothers. Jordan Staal and Eric Staal for the Hurricanes, and Mark Staal for the Rangers. All 3 of them on the ice. Of course, Jarrett Staal in the minors for the Hurricanes. So all 3 Staal brothers, the 3 main ones in the NHL, all on the ice on one night for the first time ever. Congratulations, though, to Mark and the New York Rangers on a huge night. So Mark will have the bragging rights over his 2 brothers for at least a little while. Next, we have the Florida Panthers and the Washington Capitals in Washington. No longer division rivals, but still rivals to an extent. The Caps, still without Alex Ovechkin, they come up with a 3-2 shootout victory. For the Washington Capitals, their goals being scored by Nicholas Backstrom, who now has more points than Alex Ovechkin this season. His 5th of the year, assisted by Eric Fehr and Mike Green, and then John Carlson popping in his 1st of the year, assisted by Michael Lotta and Carl Alsner. Congrats to Michael Lotta on his first NHL point. And for the Florida Panthers, their goals being scored by Jesse Winchester, assisted by Scotty Upshaw. And then on the power play, Thomas Fleischmann gets his 3rd of the year, assisted by Brian Campbell and Jonathan Huberdeau. Caps never trailed in the game. And in the shootout, for the Caps, all 3 shooters would score for them. Mikhail Grabovski, Brooks Laich, and Nicholas Backstrom. They would all score in the shootout. For the Florida Panthers, they only had to use 2 shooters because of this. Alexander Barkov, he would score in the shootout. However, Jonathan Huberdeau would not. So, shootout to forget for the Panthers, though they do get a point. And for another rough game in a sense for the Caps. As far as rough stuff goes, Michael Lotta led the team with 7 penalty minutes. No one stood out as far as shots on goal for the Caps. Eric Fair, Mike Green, and John Carlson each had 4 to lead the team. And how about Steve Oleksy? 7 blocked shots. That's pretty unbelievable right there. Again, Christopher Stieg, a scratch for the Florida Panthers. Sean Bergenheim also out of the lineup. Michael Neuvirth got the start and goal for the Caps, with Holtby playing last night, and he was really good. 31 saves on 33 shots and .939 save percentage. He was probably the best player on the ice, actually. For the Florida Panthers, Ray Whitney was reinserted back into the lineup for the first time in a very long time. And it was not a good night for him, a -1 and 1 block shot. Everything else is 0. For the overall, though, Dmitry Kulikov and Brian Campbell both had 5 shots on goal to lead the game. Tom Gilbert with 4. And how about Marcel Goc? 17 penalty minutes in the game. A 10-minute misconduct, a 5-minute fighting major, and a 2-minute instigating minor for instigating a fight. So, Marcel Goc, we'll see if he maybe gets a look by Brendan Shanahan. Scott Clemmensen would get his first start of the season. And he actually was pretty solid. 21 saves on 23 shots and .913 save percentage. Just not solid enough to get the win. But he did get a point for his team, so congratulations to the Washington Capitals on a huge win. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Columbus Blue Jackets, the second of a home-and-home between the two. The Pens won their home game by a final score of 4-2, and they also win Columbus's home game by a final score of 3-0. Pittsburgh goals being scored by Derek Engelland, assisted by Joe Vitale and Dustin Jeffrey, his first assist of the season, as well as his first point of the season. The second goal coming just 47 seconds into the third, Chris Kunitz getting that one, assisted by Pascal Dupuis and Paul Martin. And then Jussi Jokinen would get an empty net goal with 9:22 into the third, assisted by Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. 5 shots on goal for Pascal Dupuis, 4 for Chris Kunitz. 6 hits for Tanner Glass, 4 for Chris Kunitz. 4 block shots for Oli Mata, but Pascal Dupuis leading the Pens and the game with 5 shots. Jeffrey Zatkoff got the starting goal, and congratulations to him. He finally gets his first, not only his first NHL win, but his first NHL shutout. A 19-save shutout for him, which is not bad. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, nothing went their way by any stretch. Derek McKenzie would lead the team with 6 hits. He led the game. Ryan Johansson had 4. But other than that, no standout stats. Jack Johnson also had 4. Curtis McElhaney got the start, and he was actually good. 24 saves on 26 shots and .923 save percentage. Just not good enough to get the win. Congratulations, though, to the Pittsburgh Penguins on sweeping the home-and-home with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Next, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver. It's Pavel Bure night. That's right. Number 10 going up to the rafters at long last. He also wore number 96 for the Vancouver Canucks for a short time, but he wanted to be known for number 10. And the Canucks celebrate with a 4-0 shutout victory over the Leafs. Daniel Sedin would get it started on the power play, assisted by his brother Henrik Sedin and Ryan Kessler. They celebrate new contracts, new 4-year contracts. Zach Kassian then got up on the board, assisted by Brad Richardson and Alexander Edler. Then Chris Higgins would get up on the board, assisted by Christopher Tanev and Mike Santorelli. And then Dan Hamhuis would get his second of the year, assisted by Brad Richardson, and Darren Archibald. He gets his first NHL point. So congratulations to him. But let's take a look at the shots on goal here, folks. My goodness. How about Alexander Edler? He may not have gotten a goal. He had an assist, 4 block shots, 3 hits, but 12 shots on goal. That is unbelievable. That's unreal. And I believe that is a season high for any player for shots on goal. Daniel Sedin had 5. Chris Higgins and Alexander Burrows and Jason Garrison each had 4. But Alexander Edler, 12 shots on goal. Unreal. Roberto Luongo got the start for the Canucks and powered their way to a 21-save shutout. Congratulations to him. The Toronto Maple Leafs, not a good night. For them, Phil Kessel leading the team with 5 shots on goal. 5 shots on goal. Cody Franson and James Van Riemsdyk leading the team at 4 hits. James Reimer got the starting goal. He gets his first loss of the season, 43 saves on 47 shots, a .915 save percentage. So he actually played well, even though he let up 4 goals. That's a lot of shots to take, so you always got to commend that, especially from Alex Edler. And again, the game got rough. This was another game that got really rough. It wasn't just one brawl, it was a bunch in a couple different periods. Colton Orr led the Leafs with 15 penalty minutes. David Clarkson had 12. Fraser McLaren had 6. And for the Vancouver Canucks, Tom Sestito led the team with 15 minutes in penalties. Zach Kassian had 10. Alex Burrows had 5. So, really rough night out there for both teams. Congratulations, though, to the Vancouver Canucks, and congrats to Pavel Bure on his accomplishment of getting his number raised. Next, we have the Montreal Canadiens and the Colorado Avalanche. Another retirement ceremony. Adam Foote getting his number 52 raised to the rafters, and the Avs also celebrate with a 4-1 victory. The captain, Gabriel Landeskog, getting it started, assisted by Marc-Andre Cliché and Patrick Bordelot. For Patrick Bordelot, that's his first assist of the season. Then after Montreal tied it up, it was all Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon gets his second of the year, the eventual game winner, assisted by Gabriel Landeskog and Jan Hejda. Then Ryan O'Reilly would get his 4th of the year unassisted, and then P.A. Parenteau would get an empty net goal, his 4th of the year, assisted by Matt Duchene and Andre Benoit. Gabriel Landeskog leading the team with 6 shots on goal, as well as a goal and an assist, and then 5 shots for Ryan O'Reilly. Corey Sarich and Jan Hejda powering the way to 5 hits. So congratulations to those two. And John Sebastian Giguere gets the start in net against the team he grew up watching, and he got the win. 29 saves on 30 shots, a .967 save percentage. Team without Jamie McGinn and Tyson Barrie. Congratulations to the Avs. For the Montreal Canadiens, their only goal of the game coming on the power play. Brendan Gallagher gets his 7th of the year, assisted by P.K. Subban and Alex Galchenyuk. George Parros leading the game with 7 penalty minutes. 5 shots on goal for Brendan Gallagher and Max Pacioretty. 5 hits for Rennie Bourque. 4 for Douglas Murray. And Peter Budaj would get the starting goal for the Habs. 27 saves on 30 shots, a .900 save percentage. Not the best night for him. Congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche and to Adam Foote on getting his number raised. Next, we have the Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton. 5-0 shutout victory for the Wings. Darren Helm making his season debut, and he celebrates with the eventual game-winning goal, his 1st of the year, and the 1st of the game, assisted by Dan Cleary and Daniel Alfredson. Then Thomas Tatar would pop in his 3rd, assisted by Joachim Anderson. Then Jakob Kindl would get his 1st of the year, assisted by Daniel Alfredson and Pavel Datsyuk. Then Joachim Anderson would get his second of the year, assisted by Drew Miller, his first assist of the year, and Justin Abdelkader. And then Todd Bertuzzi would score a power play goal, his fourth of the year, assisted by Henrik Zetterberg and Jakob Kindl. So, all penalty minutes in the game for the Detroit Red Wings coming from defenseman Brendan Smith, 11 penalty minutes. Jakob Kindl, a goal and an assist. Daniel Alfredsson, 2 assists. Joachim Anderson, a goal and an assist. Jakob Kindl led the team with 4 shots on goal. He had a really good night, actually, as well as 4 blocked shots. He was not a star, surprisingly enough, though. He should have been. And congratulations to Peter Mrazek, who got the starting goal for the Detroit Red Wings, a top prospect. His first NHL start. I believe that's his first NHL start. Yes, his first start of the season, first win of the season. However, it's his first NHL shutout. That is his first NHL shutout, his second career win. A 14-save shutout. Congratulations to him. For the Edmonton Oilers, just not a good night. David Perron and Justin Schultz out of the lineup. Johan Franzen out of the lineup for the Wings, by the way. Nobody stood out with shots on goal. How about, though, Ryan Jones, 7 hits in the game, and Nick Schultz, 5 blocked shots. That only positives to take out of this game. Richard Bachman got the start in goal and was not good at all. 7 saves on just 9 shots, a 778 save percentage. Instantly pulled for Jason LaBarbera, who didn't fare any better. Just 19 saves on 22 shots, an 864 save percentage. Congratulations to the Detroit Red Wings. Next, we have the Nashville Predators and the Los Angeles Kings in LA. The Preds coming up big with a 4-3 win in regulation. They never trailed in the game. Nashville goals, they got a couple of power play goals. First one being scored by David Legwand, assisted by Seth Jones and Patrick Hornquist. Then Shea Weber would get a power play goal, assisted by Patrick Hornquist and Mike Fisher. Then Eric Nystrom would get up on the board, his 4th of the year, assisted by Patrick Hornquist. 3 assists on the night for Hornquist. And David Legwand would get his 2nd of the game-winning goal, assisted by Matthias Ekholm. So congratulations to him. Rich Kloon led the game with 17 penalty minutes. Shea Weber had 6 hits. Eric Nystrom led the game with 7. And Kevin Klein, 5 blocked shots to lead the team in that respect. How about Carter Hutton? He got the starting goal and was solid. 35 saves and 38 shots and 921 save percentage. 2 goals for David Legwand. 3 assists for Patrick Hornquist. He's having a fine season this year so far. For the LA Kings, their goals coming from Anze Kopitar, assisted by Jake Muzzin. Then Dustin Brown, the captain, got up on the board, assisted by Anze Kopitar and Justin Williams. And then on the power play, Mike Richards would get up on the board, assisted by Tyler Toffoli and Jake Muzzin. Tyler Toffoli playing his first game of the year and getting his first point of the year. Dan Carcillo led the team with 7 penalty minutes, 2 assists for Jake Muzzin, a goal and an assist for Anze Kopitar. 6 shots on goal for Jake Muzzin, 5 for Tyler Toffoli. 4 for Dustin Brown and Slava Voinov and Drew Doughty. 5 hits for Dustin Brown, 4 block shots for Willie Mitchell. Jonathan Quick gets the start in goal for the Kings. Did not face much and therefore was not a great night for him. Just 13 saves on just 17 shots, a 765 save percentage. Not Jonathan Quick we know. So congratulations to the Nashville Predators on a solid defensive performance. And last but certainly not least, the Phoenix Coyotes and the San Jose Sharks in San Jose. The Yotes coming up with a big win, 3-2 in a shootout, allowing Dave Tippett to become the winningest coach in franchise history with his 166th franchise win. Phoenix Coyotes, their goals being scored by Antoine Vermette, assisted by Rob Klinkhammer and Michael Bodker. And then the Sharks took a 2-1 lead, and then Michael Bodker would get his third of the year, assisted by Derek Morris. For the San Jose Sharks, Joe Pavelski got his sixth of the year, assisted by Matthew Nieto and Tommy Wingels. And on the power play, Dan Boyle would get his second of the year, assisted by Joe Pavelski and Joe Thornton. For Dan Boyle, it was his first game back since taking that hit from Maxime Lapierre, but did not result in the win. In the shootout for the Phoenix Coyotes, Radim Vrbata and Antoine Vermette would get the shootout goals for them. Vermette, the shootout winner. Michael Bodker, Mike Ribeiro, and David Rundblad also got tries for the Yotes. For the San Jose Sharks, Logan Couture scored the only shootout goal for them. He was the first shooter. Joe Pavelski, Jason Demers, Thomas Hertl, and Patrick Marleau would all miss. So congratulations to the Yotes on a huge win. A goal and an assist for Michael Bodker. He had a great night. He had an excellent night, actually. Oliver Ekman-Larsson led the team with 4 shots on goal. And how about Zbigniew Michalek, 7 blocked shots? That's pretty impressive right there. But the real star of the game, without question, is the goaltender Mike Smith. He got the start. And how about this? 48 saves on 50 shots, a .960 save percentage. Unbelievable statistics. Mike Smith enjoying a very good season right now. He truly is. Joe Pavelski, a goal and an assist in the game. But again, the shots. That's what the San Jose Sharks do best. They shoot. Marc-Edouard Vlasic led the team with 4 shots on goal. But not a good night, however, for Jason Demers. He had 5 shots on goal, but also gave away the puck 5 times. So 5 giveaways for him. But the shots on goal, Jason Demers again, 5. Joe Pavelski, 4. Dan Boyle, 6. Thomas Hertl, 4. And Logan Couture, 10. That led all players on the ice in shots on goal. 10 shots on goal for Logan Couture. Without Brent Burns in the lineup also. Antti Niemi got the starting goal, and he was actually really good despite the loss. 28 saves on 30 shots, a .933 save percentage. Again, the Sharks had 20 more shots on goal than the Yotes did, but the Yotes coming up with the shootout win, courtesy of Mike Smith. The Sharks get a point, but they don't get the win. Congratulations to Dave Tippett on his accomplishment, and congrats to the Phoenix Coyotes on a huge win on the road. And last but certainly not least, that is all the games from last night, and now we go to this day in hockey history from November 3rd. In 1972, Phil Esposito of the Boston Bruins scored his 350th goal in the NHL in a 6-6 tie game between the Boston Bruins and the California Golden Seals. They played in the NHL from 1967 to 1976. Phil Esposito won the Stanley Cup in 1970 and 1972 with the Boston Bruins. In his career, Phil Esposito scored 717 goals in the regular season and 61 in the playoffs. What a great player he was. And at one point was the record holder for most shots on goal in a season. I believe now that record was broken by Alex Ovechkin. And that will do it, folks. Thank you for bearing with me for this very long episode. And that'll do it for episode 93 of Hockey on the Spot. This has been Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you and have a great day.